Hi everyone, hope you are doing good. Welcome back to our channel. My name is Harps and I'm here from Harper and Cooper Opticians in Cheltenham. Not actually practicing from my bedroom. This is actually us being at home because we're currently in lockdown. So I'm talking to some people today who are sharing a similar why to what we have at the moment. So our why is we help people feel great about themselves, giving them the confidence to conquer their world. And I want to talk to people who do the same thing as that we do in their expertise in their fields. I'm talking today to a really good friend of ours. His name is Adam Harris. He is a coach who we have been doing some awesome work with. And I'm talking to him about his speciality, which is to do with remote working and how to be awesome. Welcome to Adam. Hi, Adam.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Good, good.
You and I have a very slight time difference, just a touch. What's the difference in time between you and me at the moment?
So currently, I'm 11 hours ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was based in the UK up until last December and then made the decision to kind of come on and move over. Um, so here in New Zealand, and life is quite different.
Lots of sheep, I hear.
Yeah, there are lots of sheep, lots of cows, lots of greenery, a lot of open space, and only 5 million people, which is interesting.
Damn, that's like 5 times population of Birmingham.
Yes,
That's it.
yeah. So New Zealand's probably an equivalent size of the UK. Yeah,
With 1/10 of the population.
yeah,
Hot damn. You got a lot of space. There's a lot of space.
yeah.
So how are you finding lockdown over there compared to us over here in the UK then?
So I think for me personally, I made the decision that we made the decision about 18 months ago to move over. So I transitioned my business, as you know, to predominantly be working remotely.
Yeah.
Um, so in some ways, going into lockdown from a working perspective, there's not really been much change.
Okay.
I have been doing a lot of work supporting other people who were probably resisting working remotely. A lot of people said, "Oh, well, we can't do it. It's not going to work." So it's been really interesting to observe, but then help and support other people. And
Okay.
actually, I wouldn't say I've been surprised, but I think as soon as you change the parameters and the boundaries, all of a sudden people go, actually, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there'll be some bits and pieces that will come through this conversation as to the things I've noticed. From a family perspective, the kids stopped school, so I've got two daughters, 11 and 7. During our transition over here, the kids stopped school last June and didn't actually start back because of the time difference, the school years, etc.
Yeah.
They didn't start until February. So in a lot of ways, lockdown's not really been much different to the last 8 months of our lives, really. Um, what's happened here in New Zealand is that the government went very hard, very quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
And our lockdown it was a real true lockdown. So the only places that were open were supermarkets and the pharmacies. And it now looks as if from next week onwards, we're going to be going into some level of business going back to I want to say normal, but as a phrase, I mean, you and I were on a conversation earlier in the week.
Yeah.
What is the new normal? It's just a different world,
Yeah.
and learning to kind of adapt and change within that for all of us is something that we've just got to do.
No, it makes complete sense. And there's been a lot of talk about how that's going to change for the future. If I can take a couple of steps back about you and how you do what you do in terms of helping people feel great about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into coaching? What got you into coaching in the first place, and what inspired the move into something like this?
So originally I qualified as a teacher.
Okay.
So 20 odd years ago, qualified as a teacher. And I absolutely love teaching, but the thing that got me very early on was the bureaucracy and the paperwork. So my style wasn't suited. I
Okay.
suppose it's the entrepreneur within me.
Yeah.
So it just meant that I couldn't carry on being a teacher. I subsequently then became and trained and qualified as a lecturer, and
Okay.
was guest lecturing for many years whilst I was in the UK.
Okay.
I've had a number of different businesses and different entities, and I have a couple of really strong abilities. One, My mind is able to see opportunities where other people can't see them. I'm just, and you've been experiencing of that.
I agree with that. Yep,
Yeah.
definitely agree with that.
And then the other thing is that I'm really good at connecting people. So I kind of, I don't know if you remember the Minority Report, where kind of moving the bits and pieces. That's kind of how my brain works.
Okay.
So again, you and I were on a conversation earlier in the week,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, and I've got to introduce you to this person.
Yeah.
I could see a link and a connection and an opportunity before other people can do. And after kind of running a number of my own businesses and being a CEO in a couple of organizations, I came across a coaching organization, and I was originally looking at becoming a member. So running kind of mastermind peer groups.
Yeah.
Some people may well have heard of Vistage.
Mm-hmm.
And originally I was looking at becoming a member, and I was in the middle of merging the organization that I was working in to another organization based out of America. So basically I wasn't a CEO anymore, so I couldn't be a member.
Yeah.
And then they turned around to me and said, well, why don't you run a group? I'm like, well, I'm early 30s, I've only got a couple of years worth of C-level experience, and I've got all my hair and it's not grey. So, what's a spotty 30-odd-year-old, from Nottingham going to be able to kind of help out with?
Okay.
And it was really quite funny, because actually what became very clear very quickly was all of the passion that I had for teaching and challenging and supporting people,
Mm-hmm.
but doing it through their eyes, not necessarily my own. I began to see very quickly that actually it was just what I was meant to do. 10 years later, a number of different clients all across the globe. And I know that I've got a particular style, so I'll ask questions and push and prod and poke,
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of other people won't do. And I kind of work on a phrase in my own head that if I feel uncomfortable, I'm exactly playing in the right zone.
Okay. And is that how you, this is like a double-edged question, because I've kind of experienced that working with you at the same time as well. Is that how you want your clients to feel at the same time? It feels a little bit uncomfortable. This is a good place for you to push something.
Yeah, I mean, look.
What kind of uncomfortable feeling?
Yeah, so the thing is, I think, fundamentally, and these are just my opinions, and I've done a lot of reading over the years, but in simplest terms, we're fundamentally lazy, and our bodies and our minds will take the path of least resistance. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to put tools, tips, habits, routines, etc. in place. Look, don't get me wrong. There are certain few people that are very exceptional, and they find doing the exceptional very, very easy. Yes. But for most of us, we've got to find what's going to work for us. And what I find is that, and I come at things from a perspective that we all need to be challenged.
Yeah.
Because if we become challenged, and that might be, some people are really good at challenging themselves. Okay. Some people have got great reflective practices. They're journaling on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. They're stopping, pausing, taking that step back, reflecting and thinking, oh, okay, right. In order for me to be better tomorrow than I was today, this is what I'm going to need to do.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that, we all, I believe, have the curse of knowledge. So we only see often what's in front of us, and we're only basing it on our own experience or our own expertise. And we can only see it like this way. And actually, sometimes we need other people to just open the peripheral vision just slightly to go, okay, that's fine. Are you sure you want to do that? You sure that's the right path that you want to go down? What are the other options? Yeah. So it's, for me, coaching is about, it's not about the answers, it's about asking the right questions. Mm-hmm. And it's actually about asking the questions that we can't think of for ourselves, either because we can't see that wider perspective, or more often than not, we're so deep entrenched within it that we just haven't got that clarity of thinking because we're emotionally involved. How often do we all find when somebody else goes, why are you doing it like that for? God, I'd do it like this. And you go, oh,